Hi, Miss Brown.
Hello, we're back. We're going to go over some lessons. Um, were you able to get through most of your lessons other than the Common Lit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And were you able to get into Common Lit yet?
Uh, no, I kind of forgot how to get in there. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
It's okay. When you click on that link, um, you'll have to just go in and sign in to create a new account. It'll say sign up in the top right hand corner, and you just kind of create your own login. And so it's like just creating an account on that website. And then once you do that, it'll ask you for a class code, and that is located in your stream that I showed you earlier. And you just put that code in, and it takes you to your class. And it's just one assignment per class on Common Lit, and it's just extra practice there. It's actually pretty cool. But anyways, we'll get started back. If you would go ahead and type your name in the chat box for me to sign in.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's still raining here, but it's not bad.
Oh yeah, it's still raining out here and out at my house too.
I think it's going to rain all day.
Well, that's
Okay, I
well,
guess.
I guess that's good for the plant.
Yeah, we'll get some new flowers and things blooming after that. So as long as the tornadoes stay away, I'm good.
Sorry about not talking earlier. I was cleaning while listening.
Oh, no, it's
It-
perfectly fine. You can type in the chat box or talk. A lot of people don't like to talk on the microphone, and that's okay. But it's there if you want to. I like the interaction. So, okay, I'm going to stop sharing this, and I am going to see if I can.
So is it just me or is there other people too?
This morning it's just you, but I think I have some that work in the morning, so they'll be going back and doing their assignments in the afternoon and watching videos. So,
Oh,
and
okay.
the first day is always kind of iffy. But yeah, I have several people in this class. They're just not on the Zoom this morning.
Okay.
Um, let me
I guess
see.
that kind of works with my schedule then because I start work next Monday, I think, and
Good.
3 to 11.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
E.
Where will you be working?
I don't like the place, but I'll be working at Butterball.
Oh, okay. Over in Ozark.
Yeah,
I know. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, though. Money's money.
bills are bills.
Exactly. Okay. I'm going to see if I can share my screen here. One of my mini screens I got going on here. Okay. You should be seeing my screen. Looks like a blue background. It says words in context
Yes, ma'am.
with my little, whatever you call that, my uh, Bitmoji. Okay. Let me make this just a little bit bigger so we can both see it well. And we're just going to go over some of the assignments. And just as a reminder, this may be new, you may be out of school a while, but any new journey, just keep an open mind. You never know what could be until you try. Waste no opportunity. It can be kind of daunting sometimes when you look at all these assignments and it just looks overwhelming. But I would just encourage you to keep an open mind, take one day at a time, one class at a time, one assignment at a time. We'll get through it. Just as long as you follow through, I think you will do so well. And just starting out taking that step that's a big step to just walk in and start school again. So the first lesson was on determining word meaning. We went over that in our lesson. We're going to read this example, and it says mountain lions are also known as pumas, cougars, and panthers. They are large brownish cats that live in many different habitats. These can include deserts, swamps, and forests. They prefer to be hidden rather than in the open in order to surprise their prey. So, what
Mhm.
is the meaning of the word habitats as used in the passage? So, we have A, groups, C, patterns, B, places, or D, countries. Which do you think that means?
Places.
Places, that is correct. So, if you look um, right after they say habitats, it gives you the
Mhm.
definitions. This can include deserts, swamps, and forests. Those are all places. So the answer would be B. Okay. Mountain lions rarely attack humans. However, people should use caution while they are hiking or biking in wilderness areas where mountain lions are known to live. Here are a few recommendations for ensuring your safety when enjoying the outdoors. These suggestions will lessen the chances of having unwanted encounters with mountain lions. So, number one, never hike alone. This is good advice whether or not mountain lions live in the area or not. Situations can arise in which you might need to the help of another person. Two, keep your children near you at all times. Do not let them wander out of your sight. Three, if you see a mountain lion, try and stay calm. Do not run away from the mountain lion. This could elicit or set off the mountain lion's instinct to chase you as if you were prey. Do not move towards the mountain lion. Instead, stand your ground, make eye contact with the animal. Do not bend over or crouch down because this will make you more closely resemble a mountain lion's four-legged prey. Stand upright and try to appear large. Speak in a loud voice and wave your arms. When the mountain lion sees that you are not prey, it will usually find a way to escape the situation. So just remember that when you first encounter a mountain lion, your main goal is to convince the lion that you are not its prey. By standing tall, speaking loudly, and waving your arms, you also tell the lion that you may be a danger to it. Okay, so number one, this sentence, here are a few recommendations for ensuring your safety when enjoying the outdoors. Which word means the same as the word recommendations? A, outdoors, B, suggestions, C, chances, or D, encounters?
B, suggestion.
That is correct. Number two, situations can arise in which you might need the help of another person. What does the word arise mean? Is it awaken, happen, stand tall, or move forward?
Happen.
Yes, that is correct. A lot of people get confused on that because when they say rise, a rise sounds like standing tall to some people, but it is actually happen. Situations can happen. And a good way to pick the right answer is if you say the sentence and just replace it, situations can happen instead of arise. And if it makes good sense, it's most likely the answer. Okay. Number three, this could elicit or set off the lion's instinct to chase you as if you were prey. What word or words help you understand the meaning of the word elicit? Is it run away, instinct, set off, or chase? If you look at the sentence, remember how we talked about punctuation? Writers often use punctuation to give you the definition. So this could elicit, comma, or set off, comma. They're giving you that definition in between those commas. So B would be your answer. Set off is those words are what help you understand the meaning of elicit. Okay, number four. Yeah, did you have a question?
Oh no, I was just confused for a minute. My
Okay.
dyslexia kicked in. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, number four. Do not bend over or crouch down because this will make you more closely resemble a lion's four-legged prey. What does the word resemble mean? Is it A, think of, B, seem to, C, search for, or D, look like?
Look like.
Yes, that is correct. It is look like. And again, if you replace that as you're saying it and it makes sense, it's most likely the answer. So if it says, this will make you more closely look like a lion's four-legged prey, that makes complete sense. So D would be your answer. Okay, this is a memo. Looks like a work memo. And it is to all maintenance personnel. And it is from R. Jones, the maintenance supervisor. It says, you may have noticed that we have purchased and installed the latest Q10 machines. We must add these machines to our preventative maintenance or PM schedule. Familiarize yourself with the instruction manual your team leader will give you. Note that these are very technical machines that require careful PM. Your team leader will show you all members of your team the PM procedure for the Q10. You will then be assigned one part of the PM for all the Q10 machines, and your part of the PM will be listed on the complete PM schedule. As with most PM, the Q10 will need to be lubricated or oiled every day with high-grade oil to make sure its moving parts run smoothly. Because the Q10 is a complex apparatus, the machine must be adjusted on a daily basis to make sure it performs efficiently. The flag on the machine tells how often the PM task must be done. Your team leader will assign and schedule these tasks for team members. So question 1, as a member of the machine maintenance team for large manufacturing company, you receive the above memo. Based on the passage, when machinery is lubricated, it is made slippery, given fuel, moved around, started up, or cleaned and washed.
So I did make a mistake. It would be A.
Yeah, it would be made slippery. And let's see. A way that we can figure that out. Again, they're using that punctuation right here. After it says it will need to be lubricated, comma, or oiled. Oil, just general knowledge, is very slick. So it makes it slippery. Okay. A section of the memo explains that you must make daily adjustments to keep the apparatus performing smoothly. What is the meaning of the word apparatus? Schedule, oil, team, flag, or machine?
Machine.
Yes, it is machine.
Okay.
It's one of those crazy words, like I said, you may see these words that you have no idea. Apparatus. I mean, people don't normally talk like that. Some people might, but just general people would have just said machine. But if you don't know what that word means, again, you could go through and say this word, replace it to where it says apparatus over here, and see if it makes sense. That's a good way to kind of find your answer.
So I did get that one right. Okay.
Yeah, good deal. Okay, this is an employee questionnaire. And it says, thank you for applying for a job with Big Breeze Wind Energy Company. We are delighted that you want to work in the exciting field of renewable wind energy. Before completing the full detailed application, there are a few important things we need to find out about you regarding your qualifications. Please answer the following questions by checking yes or no for each item. Return this form to the Human Resources Administrator when completed. And then they have a list of questions here, such as, do you have acrophobia, fear of high places? Do you have experience and or training in computer systems or monitoring? Do you have experience and or training in computer troubleshooting or repair? Do you mind working outdoors in all types of weather? Do you mind driving in all types of weather? Do you own your own car or other vehicle? Do you live within 25 miles of this facility? Do you have training in aerodynamics or airflow? Okay, so you are applying for the position of a wind power maintenance technician at a Big Breeze Wind Energy Company. You have been asked to fill out the above questionnaire. Wind turbines are often several stories high. Why might having acrophobia disqualify you for this job? So if we look at that question, it's the very first question up here. It says, do you have acrophobia? Well, I may not know what that word means, but right after it, using parentheses, they give you the definition, fear of high places. So why might having acrophobia disqualify you for this job? Well, because
You can have fear of high places.
right, that is the fear of high places. So that would not be a good job for you. Why might training in aerodynamics qualify you for this job? So what is aerodynamics? If you look back here at this last question, again, with punctuation, they say aerodynamics, comma, or airflow. They're giving you that definition right there. So we know if it is airflow,
Bottom.
you have, why might the training qualify you? That means you have training in airflow.
E.
Yes. Okay. By finding out about an applicant's qualifications, the company is learning what? Well, they're learning if they have the skills necessary, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're just asking questions to find out what kind of skills they have and if they match the job. Okay. That one was kind of straightforward and easy. Let's talk about connotations a little bit. So writers make choices about words they use, and these choices affect the meaning and tone of their writing. I don't know if you've ever heard of that word connotation, but you can be talking to somebody and somebody can just say something, and even though the words aren't necessarily threatening or aggressive, the connotation in which they speak it in can be threatening or aggressive. So words can have connotative meaning, which are associations the word brings to mind. So connotative words are usually connected to emotions. So the word cozy and cramped have similar dictionary meanings. They both mean small areas, but cozy suggests that something is warm and comforting, while cramped suggests something is uncomfortably small. So just those words, even though by definition are close, if I use the word cramped, it's more of a negative connotation, whereas cozy is a more relaxing, positive connotation. You'll often find connotative language in persuasive texts, such as newspaper editorials, opinion pieces, and movie reviews. These types of writings, the authors use connotation to express strong emotion or to get readers to feel or think in a certain way about a topic. Let's see, let's look at this example. So last week I went to meet a new neighbor. Shortly after I entered the woman's house, she scooped up a clawed creature and thrust it toward me. I stumbled backwards onto the porch. So let's talk about connotative language in that statement. The clawed creature is an accurate dictionary definition of a cat. A cat is a clawed creature, but the word suggests a negative attitude towards the cat. So if I was a cat person, I would probably not, if I really liked cats, I probably wouldn't describe them in that way. But evidently this person has like a negative view about cats. So they were calling it a clawed creature. The word stumbled instead of moved suggests being off balance. The connotative language conveys the writer's negative attitude towards the cats, while at the same time setting a humorous tone. Let's look at this example. Um, and The Princess Bride, that I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. It's an awesome movie. It's a classic. It is a gold mine of quotes. And the lines from this 1987 classic are still in use more than 30 years after the movie's release. I can't believe that's been out for 30 years. I feel really old. But even today, some of the theaters show the movie and encourage fans to quote along with memorable lines such as inconceivable and as you wish. What is the connotation of the word classic used in this passage? Okay, so it says classic, and they're still used more than 30 years after the movie's release. In this passage, I will tell you that it is something that is old but valuable. Classic is usually something that is older, but it still has worth and value. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Okay, we're going to read this passage. Tragically, many small business owners in our town are trying desperately to fend off the corporate giants that want to take over our town. The latest example is the Happy Day hardware store, a family-owned store that may soon be forced to close because it can't compete against a huge national hardware chain. It's happening all over the country, but it doesn't have to happen in our town. Let's show the tough guys that we value our mom and pop stores. They are part of our community. They are our friends and neighbors, and we won't see them defeated by a giant chain store. Sorry, I got tongue tied, run by strangers who do not share a history and affection for this place and its people. The big hardware stores have a wider selection of lower prices. It's true, but we are willing to sacrifice our local store and the people who have served our community for decades just to save a few dollars. The big stores will come, but that doesn't mean that we have to abandon our homegrown businesses. Let's demonstrate the best in us. We urge you to go by Happy Day this week and show your support by buying something and pledging to remain loyal customers. Okay, I'm going to have you read that question 1, and I will be right back to go over this in just a couple.
Mm.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I'm multitasking this morning. I've got students in the class too, and I'm on my own today.
Ah,
So we will start out with number one. It says, tragically, many small business owners in our town are trying desperately to fend off the corporate giants that want to take over our town. What is the connotation of the word giants? Extremely tall persons or things, enormous and threatening persons or things, very talented and successful persons, or D, large, strong fictional characters.
I want to go with B.
Yeah. So if you're just thinking about the word giant, some of these other answers may make sense. Tall or big things. That would make sense if you're just talking about the definition of giant, but it's asking you the connotation that was used. And in this case, it would be B. If they're talking about a corporate giant, they're talking about a large business. And that can seem very threatening to small mom and pop stores, personally owned stores. Okay, so your answer is B. Number two, they are our friends and neighbors, and we won't see them defeated by a giant chain store run by strangers who do not share a history and affection for this place and its people. What tone is suggested by the writer's use of the word strangers? Is it A, a humorous tone, B, a hopeless tone, C, tragic, or D, threatening tone? Which do you think most likely is the answer? Okay, so
Well, you would think it would be tragic because of what's going on, but I guess it would be D.
yes, that is correct. I could see where tragic could make sense though too, given the situation. But in this case, the word strangers is a threatening tone. I always think of stranger danger, the unknown can a lot of times be threatening. So if you have this big company come in and they're not local people, we tend in small towns, we like our local people. We like to know everybody. And it can seem very threatening when somebody that we don't know comes in and seems like they're just trying to take over. Number three, but are we willing to sacrifice our local store and the people who have served our community for decades just to save a few dollars? What is the connotation of the word sacrifice in the third paragraph? Willingly give up something, accidentally losing something, eagerly offering something, or helplessly accepting something. So if we're talking about a sacrifice is something that you willingly do. Okay. I don't know if you're a Christian person, but if you have ever heard the story of Jesus Christ, he offered himself as a sacrifice for the sins of others. So he willingly gave up his life, in other words. Another example is when I went back to school, I was working full time, but I willingly sacrificed my free time to get an education. Okay. I willingly did that. It's not something that I accidentally lost or helplessly accepted. I willingly said, okay, I'm going to give up my free time. I'm going to buckle down. So that is the definition of a sacrifice. So willingly give up is your answer, A. Which word in the last paragraph best suggests its persuasive tone? A, abandon, B, homegrown, C, urge, or D, loyal. And so the last paragraph, it says the big stores will come, but that doesn't mean that we have to abandon our homegrown business. So abandon, that's a strong word that they're using. So I would say that is the most persuasive. Urge is also a pretty close word that I would think a lot of people would guess. But if you are using those strong languages, like we don't have to abandon our homegrown businesses, I would say the best answer would be A.
I messed up on like the little thing then because I put loyal.
That's okay. That's okay.
Ah.
That's why we go over these. That's why we go over these. So, okay. So, lesson 2 was on understanding figurative language. And I've already got this example written out here. But it says, as waves of fog rolled across the meadow, Sam checked the faded map one more time. The map was his ticket to riches, and he had studied its markings carefully. Next, he looked around to make sure no one else was nearby. Satisfied that he was alone, Sam picked up the shovel and forced the blade into the ground with his right foot. His heart thumped in his chest like a galloping horse again and again. He filled the blade and flung its load of dirt aside. Rivers of sweat poured off his face, and he dug deeper and deeper into the earth. What two things are being compared in the simile? So remember, simile uses like or as to compare two things. So his heart thumped like a galloping horse. So they were comparing heart and horse. So the answer to that would be C.
Oh, that makes so much more sense.
Yeah, it's remembering that definition of simile is comparing two things using the words like or as.
See, that's what the teachers in my old school wouldn't teach, like wouldn't explain to understand, and now I understand.
Good. Good. Yeah, sometimes it's just slowing it down and dissecting these things. And knowing your definitions of things like similes, metaphors, and things like that, that's going to take you a long way through getting to where you need to be to pass like your TABE and your GD test. Okay, let's look here. I'm not going to read this whole passage. I'm just going to go to the answers and we'll skip back and forth. But in the first paragraph, which of these is a metaphor? So let's read that first paragraph. Monarch butterflies are found in many parts of the world. There are some of the most beautiful and recognizable butterflies in the world. These insects have markings of deep orange and black with dots of white. The vivid colors are danger signs to predators. Better not eat us, we're poisonous. So in the first paragraph, which of these is a metaphor? So remember, metaphor is comparing two things without using like or as. Okay, so would it be A, the most beautiful and recognizable butterflies in the world, markings of a deep orange and black with dots of white? C, vivid colors are a danger sign to predators, or D, better not eat us, we're poisonous?
C or D, or no, wait.
You're on the right track. So if you look at C, vivid colors are danger signs. So they're comparing vivid colors and danger signs. They're just saying they are instead of saying they are like or as. They're just saying vivid colors are danger signs to predators. Okay. Number 2, in the metaphor in the second paragraph, what two things are being compared? So let's look at this second paragraph and we're looking for the metaphor. So millions of North American monarchs make an amazing journey each year. When the weather begins to turn cold, they migrate from Canada and the northern United States to California and Mexico. A journey of more than 2,000 miles during this migration, people may see colorful ribbons of butterflies traveling south for the winter. They spend the season in the mountains of Mexico. So we were looking for a metaphor. And again, that's comparing two things. not using like or as. So would it be A, North America and Mexico, B, warm and cold climates, C, land journeys and air journeys, or D, colorful ribbons and monarch butterflies?
A or D? D.
Okay, yeah, it is D. And what they are comparing was the colorful ribbons to butterflies. So if you were looking at a group of butterflies in the flying in the sky, it's going to look like a colorful ribbon. And so they were comparing, that's the metaphor. Number 3, in the third paragraph, which of these is an example of a metaphor? Let's look in the third paragraph. Females begin laying their eggs in early spring, some in Mexico and some along their journey northward. They lay tiny eggs on milkweed plants. These glistening miniature pearls decorate the plants for about 4 days. Small green and white caterpillars soon emerge from the eggs. They feed on the milkweed leaves like eating machines. Okay. Let's see. Which of these is an example of a metaphor? They lay tiny eggs on milkweed plants. These glistening miniature pearls decorate the plants for about 4 days. Small green and white caterpillars soon emerge from the eggs, or they feed on the milkweed leaves like eating machines. Okay, again, we're looking for metaphor.
B.
That is absolutely correct. B. Some people get confused because D is comparing two things, but it uses like, so it is not a metaphor, it is a simile. But comparing, you're basically just calling the eggs glistening miniature pearls. So that is the metaphor. Okay, any questions? That was all of the assignments that we had, not counting the Common Lit assignment. And like I said, after class, this evening, tomorrow, whatever, you can try to get in and do those. On Common Lit, it's fairly easy once you get in there. And let's see. Any questions on anything today so far?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
You explained it better than all my other teachers today.
Well, thank you. I try. I really do. I try to think of it from a student's point of view and how I would want it explained to me. So we will meet, and I will explain right now. Your